kuryam ma brahma nirakarut anirakaranamastu anirakaranam mestu तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मा स्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May all my limbs attain strength. May my body, mind, all sensory and motor organs and the life force become efficient and strong. All is verily Brahman, the one without second, blissful, conscious, all-pervading reality. May I never deny this truth of oneness. May this truth never reject me either. May all the virtues needed to experience this truth in my life be with me. Om peace, peace, peace. Let us feel our intrinsic oneness. All that we see, all that we experience is one without second. The distinction is only of shape or form and the name that goes with that form. Like the different ice cubes. They look different. Only because of different shapes. Let us feel I am like that ice cube. Everything around me is also like that ice cube. I and the world, everything in it. From the minutest atom to the huge, gigantic galaxies. Although apparently different, they are one and the same. The same one reality. Let us feel these ice cubes kept in the room at room temperature. Soon All the shapes are gone. I am feeling, I am melting. Everything around is also melting, losing their shapes. Particular forms are gone. This substance alone is, which is all pervading, beyond the boundaries of time and space. In this deep, sublime oneness, all desires have vanished. All is peace. There is nothing else to disturb this deep intrinsic peace. There is no I, no world. All these illusions have just vanished. This is true bliss. Om. Peace. Peace. Well, friends, although the opening slide is uh, showing the same as was last time, uh, because I didn't change it, forgot. So, but there just read instead of class 39, class 40. Mm. Yes, and the verses are not, what are verses mentioned there? 5 to 8. These will be, although it was mentioned last time, I had planned to do 5 to 8, but we just somehow finished verse 6, and then so we will be doing now 6, 7, and maybe 8 today. Uh, Let us begin with our regular prayers. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we attain strength together. May our study make us illumined. May there be no dislike between us. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, as we had been meditating, it is important to feel the underlying oneness of existence. It is the perception of multiplicity uh, cannot be much transcended in life by logic. You have to employ the faculty of feeling. It is like if you want to cross the river, your capability of walking will not be of much use. You have to invoke the capability of swimming. So, similarly, when it comes to feeling the oneness, experiencing the oneness, the logic can tell you that yes, it is all one without second, but it cannot help you to experience it. The illusion of multiplicity cannot be just brushed aside by that in our experience. So one has to start feeling this oneness. And that is how we in meditation try to feel it with various examples. Like just think of ourselves like the ice cubes. So what happens? They melt. And then you see that they are not actually different. Were they actually different before? No, no, they were not different. They were appearing as different. And then all comparisons and the problems that go with that, that I am superior to you because I am bigger, or I want you this thing to be, mine, this and that is not yours. All those things come up when we see this multiplicity. And it is melting, it changes, we see this multiplicity changing. Yes, and all of these actually directing us towards that one, the reality that pervades everything, guides everything. It is the separation, the differences, they give rise to all that is not wanted. The oneness gives rise to all that is really wanted. As I mentioned many times, this idea of fulfilling our desires, they all pertain to oneness. Suppose Vishwanath is that loves ice cream, means what? uh, that he and ice cream becomes one, it is the separateness has to go away to fulfill that desire. So that desire is also an expression of the march towards oneness. We somehow do not find this multiplicity comfortable, and therefore they that what I should say, those desires they arise. That is the uncomfortableness, that we are not happy or comfortable in this situation. I want something else to get happier. So you go to different things. Okay, I am not happy in this job. Let me see another one. It is so you get another one. The another job comes, but the same anxieties with in different shapes, different forms. They come up because that is how this world is. World of multiplicity is always with these difficulties, likes and dislikes, all the emotional and intellectual problems, that is all multiplicity. It is dissatisfaction that is multiplicity. So, if we want satisfaction, we should work towards uh, transcending this multiplicity. So remember, this is transcendence. This is not the this multiplicity is not to be erased, but it is to be transcended. Like when you are seeing the ice cubes, then just see that they are one. uh, feel that they are one. You feel it like that, that okay, you don't care much whether you put this ice cube in your drink or the other one. It is because you know intrinsically they are all same. The multiplicity is transcended. So when we live in this world, we have to learn to transcend the multiplicity and see the same force that is driving everything, the same reality that is pervading everything. One has to invoke that feeling faculty, that let me feel this. That is called devotion. Devotion is able to take us take our life towards this ideal, rather than just struggling intellectually with it. Like our Charlie keeps on telling, I understand it, but what it is it I can't see it, I can't experience it. It is because we have to intellect in it is incapable in its very nature to break this wall. One has to use the devotion. So the devotion, when brought up, then we see the unity starts being felt. Devotion is like love, only directed towards God or that which is ultimately true. So that is love. And love is oneness. The essence of love is the feeling of one. Although there is the multiplicity apparent, I love you. It is I and you kind of get merged into something that is unifying, single. So it is in case of ice cream, it becomes very apparent quickly that the multiplicity just vanishes and you and ice cream become one. So it is similarly with anything that you love. There is that it removes the two and combines them into one. So when you invoke this love for God, then you are really merging all multiplicity into that one. That alone is real. That alone is the source of everything. And that is how a devotee feels. That who is my reality is also the reality of everything around, and that changes life. The function is different in everyone, the same reality, but it is attached to one. It works in one way, in one form. You see, its functions are becoming different. In another, it becomes different. This is the verse that we shall be taking up now for study, the seventh verse. गुणान्वयो यः फलकर्मकर्ता कृतस्य तस्यैव स चोपभोक्ता स विश्वरूपस्त्रिगुणस्त्रिवर्त्मा प्राणाधिपः संचरति स्वकर्मभिः. So it is let us see the translation. Only he who gets attached to the pleasurable qualities of things does not work for the sake of its fruits. Only he who gets attached to the pleasurable qualities of things does work for the sake of its fruits and enjoys the fruits of his own deeds. Though really the master of the senses, he becomes bound by the three gunas and, assuming various forms, wanders about through the three paths as a result of his own deeds. On internet last time somebody had asked a question, what are these three paths? So we shall discuss that more in details today. That they one reality, but it in ignorance it appears many, and not just so many pieces. There is a decided division like I, which is very special. Everybody's I is the special division. I, and that I then does various things. It is according to how that I perceives the world. See, in this room itself, you can just think that we are just about, say, 15 or so people here, and then each of us is moving in a different world because the I is different, and according to the I, the world becomes different. It is like tearing a piece, of a big sheet of paper. Now each of us is tearing a different piece, and then that torn piece is I. The remaining becomes the world. That is how uh, we all seem to be different, and our world also seems to be thus very different. Everybody is therefore psychology becomes different too. Likes and dislikes become different. The motivations and the priorities all become different for the every different being. It is not just human beings. Imagine an insect. It also has its own world. It also has its pleasures, pains, looks for what is pleasurable around. It is looking for it just as human being is looking for food. So also that little insect looking for its food. It is not interested in what we eat. It is looking for what it wants. So uh, so many different things that get created. So gunanvayo, it is the how it happens, that because of the gunas, this is an interesting aspect in Vedanta. What is this guna? This is the principle of separation. The ignorance is one without second, like the truth. There is no my ignorance and your ignorance as such. It is one without second. One without second, undifferentiated Maya. Now, the principle of having a multiplicity is this three gunas. It is difficult to just translate this concept that sattva, rajas, tamas, these are the uh, concepts or the attributes in this uh, reality which is covered by ignorance. I just try to feel. Don't take it too literally. Just these are the words for feeling. Reality covered by the veil of ignorance. Immediately you will think, okay, this is, for example, there is this person, say Howard, sitting here. Howard covered by a blanket. So, reality, Howard covered by a blanket. Immediately we think that covered means something that is cover. But the actually this is not the such separate and finite things. It is infinite, and the cover is inseparable actually. It is perception of that cover is where the individuality, separateness begins, and that is through these three gunas that they how do you separate, how do you see separateness. So it is there is a principle that is static. It does not change, it does not move, it is inertiatic principle. That in that principle the variety is there, but it is not apparent. But then there is a dynamic principle that is called rajas. Because of the movements, now you see the separation. So that is rajas. And then sattva is the again another one where this separateness is understood, known, and manipulated. So sattva, rajas, tamas. This is somewhat simplistic exposition, but that is how sattva, rajas, tamas that make they that is the instrument of making variety. It is they like you have say a pizza and then you take that cutter to make divisions, uh, do you know that there is that cutter, use that to cut, so cut the pieces. So that is how the one looks then many. So this is the cutter, this sat, these three gunas, because of which now you have the different pieces. So gunanvayo, when the cutter is applied, then what happens? The world of multiplicity appears. Gudanvayo, such a karma karta, that it does now the work, because the seeing of the difference now makes us propelled to do the work. I must get this, I must go to Vedanta society, or I must if you are a cat, then you may think I have to catch a mouse. So it is all this, you have the activity. According to the activity, you get the results also. Satasyaiva. And according to your activity, according to what you do, you get the result as well. It is according to your work. Apparently, it seems that, well, it is not my work, it is somebody else's work, like that story of Mullah Nasiruddin. He was just walking to go somewhere, and as he passed under a tree, a fellow who had climbed on the tree lost balance and slipped down, fell down, landing right on the head of this Mullah Nasiruddin, breaking his back. Now he questioned, what is this? That fellow fell and my back broke, you say. Is it my karma? Apparently that is the karma of that fellow, but the result has come to me. No, it is your karma too. You were walking and then something that had the connection. So it was your karma that your back would be broken. So, and that fellow's fall became an instrument in that. So it is everything that we do, accordingly we get the result. So this is you get as per you deserve. That do not think that somebody else has inflicted it on you. Somebody else might have become an instrument. It is, but you had done it. The mailman brings the mail, and in which Teresa opens and sees a $10,000 check. Now does she go and thank the mailman for sending her the check of 10,000? The mailman has nothing to do with it. The next day the mailman brings to her a $10,000 of bill. The mailman is, she does not go to fight with the mailman for bringing it. So nobody but me to blame that I performed work and then somebody paid me for that work. These are the arrears that have been that was owed to me, and then they were sent to me. So this is the what I earned. And sometimes the arrears are not in this life only. They can be arrears from some past lives also. It gets carried over. Whatever you do, our vision is too little, too small. But actually, the things are getting carried over for a long time. Whenever it gets matured, then it is sent to you. It is, here sometime, some years ago, and we didn't know that what happened. There were not proper records and so forth. I didn't see either what's happening, and suddenly came some check. Uh, what happened? Where did it come from? What? So then the inquiry revealed that long back somebody had invested this money, and then the person had bequeathed it to Vedanta Society. The person passed away, but when that deposit matured, it came to us. Now, if you see my coming here as from there, the lifetime of my association with Vedanta Society of Providence began. I had done nothing, I didn't know what is it. But somebody somewhere, that in this life of Vedanta Society, it was done, and so it got accrued. So each of us has a long, long past which we do not know. We are not aware of all that. That is how Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna, that I and you both have had many, many lives before this. The difference is, Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Nachatvam Vetha, that Natvam Vetha Parantapa. You do not know, Arjuna, but I know all those words. So, therefore, it is nobody to be blamed. Our own karma comes to us in various different ways. You might have forgotten. You might not remember that 178 births ago what you had done to somebody. But then that comes back. Nothing is lost, you see. So therefore, that karma phala has to be taken. The result of that action has to come to you. There is no escape from that. Whether you remember it or whether you don't remember it. So it has to come to you. There is this I. This I is doing the work. We remember that I did this. I was supposed to do this, but I didn't do this. Now that is a karma, that what action has happened? I did not do what was expected of me to be done. So that the whole thing becomes kind of an action, and then that remains with us. And then when the things mature, and then that the karma, that result of that come to you. It waits till maturity, like the siphon principle, it is till the level rises to a particular point. Like in the cistern, in your that flush, this thing, the toilet flush. So the water level has to rise to a point, and then when you press, that whole water comes out. And immediately if you again press, nothing, not much water will come, because unless it reaches to that point, you don't get it. So every action too has to mature. at a mature level, then it releases its result. So, and we keep on getting it. Sometimes we remember that, okay, this I can connect to this, that this is how I got it. Sometimes we don't remember it. Sometimes we, if they are pleasurable results, then we remember too much about it, even though we had not done the work, but then that we keep on thinking about it, and then that is a wishful thinking, what is called in psychology wishful thinking. Means you wished to do it, but you didn't do, but you wished that this would happen, and although you don't deserve it, you keep on imagining that that is going to happen, not only that it has already happened, and so forth. So, uh, this is how this action and its results, they come to us, and according to that, what happens? Your paths in life get decided. All these all these beings, they are on different tracks, but they are broadly classified into three. That is mentioned here, wanders about through the three paths as a result of one's own deeds. These three paths, there is a short note about it, that it is described in scriptures that there is something that you have done good. If the resultant is good of whatever you have done, then you are propelled to a higher path. Uh, if there is something that, the resultant is bad, then you get a downwards path, Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. So it is the so in Bhagavad Gita 8th chapter you will see the description of it. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete, that it is they they go by the path of sun, or the path of the moon, and then there are those who just remain in the middle. Some it is the three paths. So the dharma, adharma, and jnana. This is the classification that is meant. That it is path of dharma and path of adharma. Means you were doing what you are supposed to do, and you were doing that which you were not supposed to do. So the two different paths will have two different results. And there is the path of knowledge that takes you to liberation. You are freed from wandering on this or that path. You become free. So it is three different paths that a person goes. One goes to liberation, and other two good and bad, dharma and adharma, a righteous path and unrighteous path. So when one goes by righteous path, then one gets somewhat, trouble free, in the sense, comfortable life, and there are the propellants towards the knowledge. So you walk on the path of knowledge after getting this dharma. But there is the adharma. That tendency to go to knowledge is curbed there. You get lot of sufferings, a lot of bondage, and so It could be apparently thought as a very good thing, that this person is very rich, has a lot of the enjoyable things around, so many amenities are there, and so it must be a good life. Not necessarily at all. It is the apparent good, apparent evil. They are, just apparent things. It is not that it's a good life. It is a life of lot of richness, but not the life of illumination or goodness. So dharma, adharma, these are two, and then the third, which is the path towards jnana or knowledge. So that transcends both these and goes to one's own true nature. So this is the description. So it is said in Bhagavad Gita, there are different ways that you can interpret these three paths. That it is one is like given told in Bhagavad Gita, that urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasaha, and adho gachanti tamasaha. So this is how also one can say that one path is going upwards towards illumination, the other path is going downwards, and the third is like in the middle, struggle between them. So this is how one can understand this, that it is, and pranadhipas sancharati swakarmabhi. You just move according to swakarmabhi. Your own karmas will make you go round and round in these circles. It is not that somebody's work, but your own, that I creates kind of whirlpool, and according to your karma, you are that whirling around in that. But still, it is all actually the same one reality. Same one reality appearing in various different forms, you say. So, like you see in the picture there, the electricity is there is the manufacturing unit there. Electricity is the power generators are there. Now that from that power generator, now through various transformations, that electricity comes to your home. So many transformations go in between. Prasanna can tell about it, isn't it? That it is that how it is this some step up transformers, step down transformers, and then through all that, depending on what exactly at what voltage you want it to be supplied, you then get it at your home, and then you run all different appliances with that you see up there, like lights are there. There are the light fixtures, and then there is what is the first one looks like? Huh? What? Keyboard, yeah, that is that keyboard, it is like playing music, there also that electricity works, and it has different function. Then there is the light that has a different function. This doesn't make sound, that makes sound. Then there is something that is heating, there is the heater there, and then there is a refrigerator, there is a vacuum cleaner. In all of them, the same electricity goes, you see. Same electricity is functioning in and through all these instruments. Same. Let us imagine ourselves to be all these different instruments. Mm. We work differently, not in the same way, although we are human, all human beings. There are the differences. So, men will work in one way, women will work in another way. There are children, they will work in this their own way. There are those couple of children, they are playing there, unconcerned of what is happening around here, and they are busy doing their own things. So, but the same power is powering them. The same power is powering these minute these electrons moving in an atomic orbit. They are also powered by the same one reality, and they are doing their job and we are doing our job, but it is the same one source that is making all this function, and we get the result according to what we do. It is therefore the idea is, although this is all done by the divine, uh, why do I then get the results of action? It should go to that being who is doing it. This idea very prominently comes when there is some misfortune that comes to us, and then the mind gets terribly agitated that why did this come to me. This is a fallacious argument, keeps on coming, that after all, see, God inspires us all. God propels us. God does everything. Without the will of God, nothing happens. Sri Ramakrishna has said that. So why the leaf that falls has to suffer? That God who made it fall should suffer for that. But when that leaf is getting some happy, pleasant experience, then it doesn't think like that. It is, oh, I did it, it is. Yes, the grace of God is there, but I actually did. That is why I got it. So it is then, you don't say that. It is always the case that I give that example. We all are like that. It is, we don't think that why am I singled out when I get some pleasant experience while so many are suffering. Why God has doled me so much of happiness, that I don't think of. But when I get sciatica pain, oh, why did God give it to me? Why? Oh, it is, well, it is, you get according to your karma. It is, God should get it. Why should I get it then? Well, in your body, the God is getting it. You see, if you want to think of God, that God is also there in you. So the God there is also getting this suffering. So this is the awareness that should be aroused, developed, held on to. Holding on to it is very important. We think of it, we do get it, but then it slips off. That then all I and mine comes about. That why was my job taken away? It is, there were so many others when if they wanted to just reduce, they what is it called? That size reduced. There is a word for that. Is downsize. Yeah. if you wanted to downsize this company, why did you remove me and kept somebody and removed me? You should have removed others and kept me. Why I am singled out for this treatment? Mind gets very agitated, very angry, and then thinks of all the violent thoughts. It is very tricky, mind. You can't say that it thinks very nicely when it is somebody else is coming for counseling to you. Then you tell all the wisdom. Oh, this happens. It is all, somehow we get this somewhat sometimes. It is all ordained by God. Hold on to God, be calm, and all that is a good advice to dole out to others. But when a person gets oneself, unless there is that spiritual elevation to that extent, one does not think like that, gets angry, agitated, and all those nonsensical thoughts keep on making rounds in us. It is because we do not see, we do not feel that although the same God is there, we, because of the separation from that one divine, I am getting according to my karma. It is my karma, my constitution. According to my constitution, I do, and accordingly I get result, joys and suffering. It is, I remember a conversation with another nice Swami who had spoken here before sometimes, not too often. So I sometimes tell him, you are coming here, so on this day you give this talk in the evening, and then go your way back. No, Swami, it will be too hectic, Maharaj, please don't. It will be too hectic. Then I tell him, he would say, no, that is, my constitution is not like that. I cannot do so hectically. I want to, go early there, and then get myself properly oriented. I take a day long rest, and then after that I am ready. It is. Then I told him, see, I go after overnight travel and then give the retreat next day. It is why you. Then he gave such a nice reply. Well, that is your constitution. It is such a nice reply, it is your constitution. You do according to your constitution, I do according to my constitution. It is all different constitutions, and accordingly different results. See, the constitution of a keyboard and the constitution of light or constitution of a refrigerator, all are different constitution, although same power is making them work. So same divine principle in each of us work differently, in each object, in each being. According to the constitution of that being, the same power is at work. What happens when we understand this? Not that our constitution will change, and not that the light bulb will immediately, because we are same, it will start making sound like keyboard. No, it will be still functioning like light bulb. What will happen is that anger will go away. This disturbance will go away. After all of that has the same power. It is it is functioning here in one way, functioning in other in another way. So It is very important to learn to feel this, to get peace in our mind. We get, as we become peaceful, we will be able to feel that more, that oneness, that essentially we all are dependent on that one source of electricity. We are all made for the use of that electricity. That is how we all must impress on our minds this. And as we see that one, that one appears in all different forms, functions apparently in different ways in these different forms, and thus gives an illusion of multiplicity, although it is all actually one. So, this is an exercise, friends. It is not just understanding, but as I mentioned in the beginning, let's remember it is inculcating devotion towards that one power. That devotion will make us hold on to that one power, and then gradually the life will change, the vision will change, our minds will become then differently oriented. So this is the idea that is discussed here. The next verse is the verse for meditation. We had seen similar verse earlier also. In this new context, it is told differently, but we shall, just read it. Angushtamatro ravitulya rupah sankalpahankara samanvito yah buddhair buddhairguणेनात्मगुणेन चैव आराम आरामात्र अपि अपरोपि दृष्टः. It is aramatra, means it is minute. That aragramatra. Ara means like a needle. Agra means the point. Aragramatra. It is, that self is so tiny inside me, inside the heart's cavity, and so tiny, and yet is infinite. It is imperceptibly tiny and infinite. So we shall discuss this more when we meet next Friday. So tomorrow there is the worship of Divine Mother, Mother Durga, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you are all invited to join that. Any questions about today's discussion? Yes, Charlie?
There's also a thing called survivor's guilt, where if a number of people, if something bad happens to someone else, you feel, why was I spared that? Why did something better happen to me? And I feel that way sometimes, that, like Swami Vivekananda says, you have to thank the man who's begging, because if he wasn't begging, you wouldn't be able to give.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it is truth to be thankful for all those who seem to be in comparatively uh, less privileged stage. That okay, because you are so less privileged, I became more privileged.
But instead of feeling thankful, I feel guilty that I have more than they do.
Well, that is, yeah, so you can do something to remove that guilt. That is all. Lot of charity work is the result of this guilt. There was a very popular philosopher, wonderful things written by actually a psychologist, Eric Fromm. So Eric Fromm has written about it, that when you think of charity, let me give you, you are in such poor condition, let me help you. It is not really helping that person as such. You are applying balm to your own wound. That because of that guilt you are feeling a wound, and so you are applying balm to that wound. It is so. It is, but it is better than not feeling this sense of being unjust or injustice. That injustice is there, and so let me try to do whatever best I can by bringing about some balance. But it is basically, as in we tell in Karma Yoga, and nobody helps other. Helping others is also helping oneself. So this is, yeah.
And one other question. Are fundamentalists pursuing the path of Dharma, Adharma, or Jnana?
Fundamentalist, each fundamentals each fundamentalist is fundamentally different, so it is, you cannot really make a general rule. Yeah, I can't vouchsafe about, whether they are following dharma or adharma. It is again a path, evolutionary path. It is, they are following dharma or adharma, depends on where, in what situation they are. Let me tell you this example. See, if you are on first step, and then you want to go up, then going to second step is dharma for you, the right thing for you. But then to come somebody who is on the third step, for that person coming to second step is adharma. So it is that second, the particular stage is not dharma or adharma. It is dependent on how your movement is, in what direction your movement is. So that makes this understanding of dharma and adharma clear. Yes. It is. It can be changed to with our intent and effort. The constitution also undergoes a change, and our intent and effort, it requires more intense effort to change the constitution. That is how I was asking a question to a lady. We were traveling together, and she was doing at that time, or probably she still does, the research on the DNA, that about mapping the DNAs and all that, and how complicated those things are to read, and the identification of a person through DNA. And that is very commonly done in the crimes these days, that okay, the DNA matches, so that must be the same person. So I was asking her how much two questions I had asked her. One is not important in this context, that was how much is the possibility of two DNAs pertaining to two different people looking to our say our eyes, our instruments identical. So they may be two persons, but their DNAs could be same, and so one person could be convicted for somebody else because of the matching of the. She said the possibility is very, very rare, but it is there, cannot be completely ruled out. Second question is very important in our present discussion. Can this DNA be changed? Does this DNA change? And then she thought and gave a studied answer. Yes, although it is very difficult, but the DNA also over the time can get changed through various different ways. I mean, the mind that is connected closely to DNA that has a shift, and then it has an impact on the whole physiology, including the DNA. So the DNA also can get altered. So one's constitution does get altered through various efforts. Sometimes the alteration of the perceived constitution is also actually part of the constitution. That I don't know if I have made it understandable. In the constitution itself, there is this element that at such stage it will become, it will go at 180 degrees, it will get reversed. That also happens, but now that was already a part in that constitution. People watching from outside would think that this person's constitution changed. Well, that was already part in that. So depends on, how but if you do intensive effort, if you feel that this is your constitution, sometimes some of our habits we feel that they are constitutional. uh, I had the constitution to wake up late. I was used to feel very uncomfortable if I had to get up early. The whole day would then feel like, say, drowsy and not very comfortable at all. So, but then uh, as I came to stay in this the Ramakrishna mission, I decided that, well, I have to work on this. So some say that, well, these are there is the owl constitution, and then there is the what is that other bird that starts singing early in the morning, the morning bird. uh, uh, and then there is owl is nocturnal. So so some are more awake at night, but are not awake during the daytime. They like to sleep like owls, you see. This is and there is the other constitution. So you probably belong to that constitution. But gradually I changed, that it is so waking up early in the morning doesn't require any effort now. In fact, if I do not get up early in the morning, I feel so uncomfortable during the whole day. So what I mean, if you talk of these limited things as constitution, well, they can be changed through efforts, depending on, here the constitution gets translated into habit. So it is how deep that habit is. To that you have to work to that level to get it changed. So it is something like that. But it is a difficult question to directly answer, that yes, this is how you make effort and your constitution will change. Uh, it all depends that whether whether you can put in that much effort or not, that also could depend on your constitution. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, dharma, adharma, and jnana. As they see, there are these are kind of technical words used. There is these have very set meanings in different contexts. So here, dharma means doing righteous work, but not with the understanding of realizing the truth. Righteous here means the following the moral virtues, not telling lies to people, not cheating people, in a general way behaving well, even being helpful to people. It is all righteous. So righteousness. So it is some time back, not too long ago, I was on the train, and as I was getting down from the train, my wallet fell off. And then I got down on the platform. A lady brought it, shouted that, "Oh, sir!" And then I thought it is probably to somebody else. But then again I heard, then and turned back. Well, she was calling. The train was almost about to leave, and then still she managed to hand it over to me, saying, now what, that lady I had never met except in the train, and she immediately said that no, her friend told her to give to me because he saw that it is falling from my pocket. So he said, okay, okay, go give. So it is that is why I am giving this. Now it is a good thing to do, but that was not done with the intention of realizing God. It is a good act. It will incur good results. Uh, but similarly, there are evil actions, adharma, that let it be. What do I need to worry about it? It is, or let me see, grab that wallet and get all the money and other things from there. That would be adharma. This is dharma and adharma. But none of them are really focusing on the truth that is beyond both these. Do you see the difference? That uh, that is it doesn't happen automatically though. It is, one can be very moral person, get good results. That person gets in general the that good results of the karma. So will be happy, more comfortable, more enjoyments will come the way of that person, and that's about it. Yeah. That is why it is told that renounce both, give up dharma, give up adharma, and uh, hold on to the truth. It is because the one who does good things and the one who does bad things, both think that I and this world is real. Both of them are based on ignorance. Do you see this? So that is how the path of jnana, knowledge, is different from that. So let us conclude with the closing prayers. Hey, you please show it now. Here it is not gone. Hey, the last slide, yes. Om Shanti 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 Hare Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.